Hello Bio4 and welcome to part 7 of muscles. What we're moving on to now is skeletal muscles are not all the same. So I'm saying these fibers are not made equal. Why? Because we have some that are fast twitch fibers and some that are slow twitch fibers. So you've probably noticed yourself, if you have to do something like your pen is rolling off the table and you catch it quickly, that's a fast twitch fiber that's going to react quickly and fast and be able to catch that something that's falling off the table. I surprise myself sometimes. I think, how did I do that so fast? And then the slow twitch fiber is the one that you want, like postural muscles. You want to be able to stand up for a long time. It doesn't have to be very fast, the movement of those muscles that are keeping you upright, but you want to be able to stay upright for a long period of time without flopping over, right? So fast twitch are also called white or fast glycolytic, or the slow twitch are redder, and they are redder in color too, and I'll show you, or slow oxidative. So it's going to have to do with how they get their energy and how long they last without fatiguing. Okay, so we have both of these types. Genetically, this is determined, so you don't have a choice. You're born with a certain percentage of fast twitch and a certain percentage of slow twitch fibers. So let's look at it. If you could color them, it would look something like this. Where you have some cells here. I'm going to go to my pen in black, and some of them that look really dark, and some of them that are looking a whole lot pinker, right? So darker color and lighter color for the same cells that are in the same vicinity doing essentially the same thing. So we have this mixture of these different types of fibers. So how do they differ functionally? So very important is that the duration of the contraction varies with the function, how long you can keep them engaged. The fast twitch fibers are more white. If you could look at it in a chicken is the best way to look at it. You have white meat and you have dark meat. It's because they have dark fibers and lighter fibers, right? Well, the fast twitch fibers, which is the white meat, let's look at the chicken. Let's think of the chicken again. So the breast muscles, those are the ones that are white. They're larger in diameter. They don't have as many mitochondria, and these get tired really quickly. So think of what this chicken is doing with these breast muscles. What are they doing? They're trying to fly. The chickens are not very good flyers. So they'll fly for a little bit, flutter, and then drop, and then walk. And then fly for a little bit and then stop, because they're not like a duck is a migrating duck that can migrate from Alaska to South America, right? So very different. So those fast twitch fibers are intended for a burst of activity where they try and fly a little bit and they don't have a whole lot of mitochondria, which means they're going to run out of energy, right? They're going to fatigue quickly. So that gives you, fast twitch is good because it allows you to quickly do a task that, hey, you're not going to be able to maintain that task for very long. So we want some of the other type too. The slow twitch fibers, this has many more capillaries. It's got much more blood arriving to those cells. Where do I put myself here? And the color is much more red. Move myself out of there. And the color is much more red because of a protein called myoglobin. So myoglobin is a molecule that's going to be able to hang on to oxygen and provide that oxygen to the muscle to make lots of ATP. Without ATP, it's going to fatigue. Okay, so oxygen transporting protein, it's going to have more mitochondria, because if you want to make more ATP, you're going to need to do it in the mitochondria, so you better have a lot of mitochondria. So those slow twitch fibers, if you could compare them to the fast, would have a whole lot more mitochondria. And they're going to last for a long time. They're smaller diameter, but they take longer to contract, but they're going to stay, like this picture here of this person standing. If you want to stand, those muscles are going to be slow twitch fibers. They have lots of mitochondria. They keep making ATP, and you're not going to flop dead. Okay, you're going to stay upright and be able to perform that task, which is to stay upright. Okay, the distribution of these fibers, of fast twitch and slow twitch fibers, where do you have these? Where are they? So most muscles contain both, right? Like that first picture I showed you where there was a darker purple and then the lighter pink. So most muscles are going to contain both of them. But the motor units are of one type only. Remember motor unit? One neuron branching out to all these cells. It can only branch out, if it's going to branch out to a slow twitch, all of them need to be slow twitch. If it's a different neuron that's branching out to fast twitch, all of them need to be fast twitch because they behave differently. And you can't have one signal to different types of muscles. It wouldn't work at all. So the percentage of that ratio of fast to slow is genetic, as I told you. You can train and get better at one or the other, but really you are sort of born with that. And you know from runners, some runners are fantastic fast runners and they run the 100 meters. And they do so well and they win everything. And then others are not fast, but they run marathons and they last longer. So that's an individual who has a greater predominance of the slow twitch fibers. So very different, the athletes can have very different distribution of these, and that's going to determine their sport, really. It's kind of crazy. So marathon runners, again, greater number of slow twitch. Sprinters, greater number of fast twitch fibers, but then they run the 100 meters and then they can't run anymore. I mean, it's an all-out fast, and then it's over, and your energy's over. I wanted to make sure that you knew about the molecule of ATP and what's going on here. The fuel for adenosine triphosphate is the fuel for you to make a muscle move. And so it's made up of a molecule of adenine, a sugar, which is ribose, and 3 phosphate groups. So we've looked at phosphates before because we looked at the phospholipid layer of the cell. So it's the release of one of these phosphates that's going to trigger myosin to be able to do its work and slide actin along. Okay, so in this picture here, if you release one of the phosphates, you're going to use energy. And that energy is for the myosin to be able to drag the actin over and over again and make the muscle contract. It needs that phosphate. How you're making this ATP is you need the sugar, you need oxygen. So you're breathing, all of you, right? You're breathing. So we got the oxygen. You need to have eaten, so you have the glucose. And then you need some ADP. I'm going to backtrack. This molecule left behind after you've used one of the phosphates is ADP, adenosine diphosphate. So you're going to use one of those. You're going to use one of those in conjunction with sugar and glucose and oxygen. And that reaction is going to manufacture your 32 ATP for every 1 glucose. 32 ATP for every 1 glucose. And the leftovers in that reaction are going to be some water, and you're going to exhale some carbon dioxide. And this is happening, remember, in the mitochondria of the cell. If you have more mitochondria, you're able to make more of these. So if you start training, and you start running distance, and you need that muscle to have more mitochondria, what it's going to do is it's going to make more mitochondria. That's what training is all about. What we're going to do is stop this here after we've gone over the 2 types of muscle fiber. So thanks for listening.